Hello everybody, in this video we're going to install a DNS server on Windows 2022. Alright, let's get going. As a prerequisite, you will need to have Oracle Virtualbox installed, at least one virtual machine of Windows 2022 server, and 8 gigs of RAM on your physical machine. If you don't have Oracle Virtualbox installed, or if you don't have a virtual machine installed, check out my other videos for instructions on how to do that. First, let's review why we need DNS and say how it works. So let's say I have a student, and that student wants to go to the web. The student types in the name of the website into a browser. So let's pick a website that a lot of my students like, crunchyroll.com, which is an anime site. When this student types crunchyroll.com into the website, the student will use words. So this one was crunchyroll.com, but it could have been cnn.com, nfl.com, taylorswift.com, anything. Everything that student types in is going to be a mix of words. But computers don't think in terms of words. Computers think in terms of ones and zeros, or bits. And each computer on the internet has its identity marked by 32 of these bits, and we call this an IP address. Using binary numbers, we can convert these bits into numbers pretty easily. So an IP address will be 4 numbers from 0 to 255, separated by 3 dots. And each machine on the internet will have its own IP address. But now we have a problem. The student thinks in terms of words, but the computer doesn't know words. The computer only knows bits or numbers. So how do we translate back and forth? How does the computer know that crunchyroll.com is the same thing as 172.64.147.123? The answer is something called DNS, or Domain Name System. DNS translates between how humans think, which is words, and how computers think, which is numbers. So this is how it works. My student types into the browser crunchyroll.com. This is called a host name, the name of the computer, the host. My student's computer doesn't know where to look for Crunchyroll because Crunchyroll is words and the computer only knows numbers. But the computer could ask. The computer could ask for help. So it asks a designated computer on the network, and this designated computer is called a DNS server. And the DNS server knows all of this information because it has a big table that translates back and forth between numbers and words. So the DNS server gets the translation back, it takes crunchyroll.com, it converts it into numbers, it sends this information back to my student's computer, and now my student's computer knows where to go to find the web page because it has the information in terms of numbers. It has the IP address of crunchyroll.com. In this lab, we will set up a DNS server, that's the computer we're asking, and a DNS client, that's us. And we're going to show how it works. So the first thing we're going to do is relabel our machines. It's super important to label your machines properly so you know which machine is which. I can't tell you how many students I've had not label the machines, they don't know which machine is which, and then they spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. So don't do that, be smart the first time. First, I'll start Oracle Virtualbox. To label my machine, I'm going to right click on the machine, go to Settings, in the name field, I'm going to give it a good label so I know what it is. So I'm going to label my machine exactly what it does. So I'm going to label it DNS_server. And then I'll click OK. So the next thing I'm going to do is clone my machine. This is a DNS lab, and because of that, I need 2 machines. I need a DNS server, which gives out the DNS info, and I need a client, which asks for the DNS info. So to clone my machine, I'm going to right click on my DNS server, select Clone. And when I get to the screen for the name, how I'm going to label it, I'm going to say DNS_client. For the MAC address policy, this is super important by the way, the MAC address policy, I'm going to select generate new MAC addresses for all network adapters. And what this does is that it makes the network adapters have different MAC addresses. If you don't set this, what happens is your machines will not be able to talk with each other on the network. So be sure to generate new MAC addresses for all network adapters. And then I'll click Next. And then I'll click Clone. And then I'll wait. Okay, so now I want to set the networking for my 2 servers. What I'm going to do is on the DNS server, I'm going to right click that, settings, I'm going to select networking. And for the type of networking, I'm going to select internal. And what that means is the machines are going to be isolated from the outside world. So the machines outside will not be able to see in, and these machines will not affect anything on the outside world. So for both machines, I'm going to set them to internal. All right, so now I'm going to power on my virtual machine. I'm going to power on my DNS server. So to log in, I'm going to go Input, Keyboard, Insert Control-Alt-Delete. And I'll type in my password, which is I love this class, $123. Your password may be different, but if you're in my class, you should probably just take this password so you don't forget it. It happens all the time that people forget their password, and that's bad. When I log in, I'm going to close all these windows that show up, the server manager, anything else, just going to close all that stuff. I'm going to go into the search bar, and I'm going to type Ethernet settings. So again, in the search bar, I'm going to type Ethernet and select Ethernet settings. When I get there, I'll select this unidentified network thing. And here I'll set my network settings. In IP settings, I'm going to edit the IP address, and I'm going to give it a static address. So DNS servers almost always have static IP addresses, which means they don't change. So again, I'm going to click Edit. In this Edit IP Settings pull down, I'll select Manual. I'm going to turn on the IPv4 settings right here. And then I'm going to enter my IP address. So for the IP address for the server, it's going to be 192.168.0.3. I don't need anything else. So all this gateway stuff I don't need, and I'll click Save. All right, so now I'll set up my DNS settings. I'm going to select Edit. And in the pull down, I will select Manual. I'm going to turn on my IPv4 settings. And then in preferred DNS, I'm going to have it point to itself. So for preferred DNS, 192.168.0.3. You could also put the localhost 127.0.0.1. So next, I'm going to install DNS on the DNS server. I'm going to go to the search bar and type server or server manager and click on server manager when it comes up. In the upper right corner, I'm going to go to manage, add roles and features, click next, and next again, and next again. Here it's going to give me some roles to select. I'm going to select DNS server. I'm going to click add features, and then next, and next, and next again, and click install. And then I'm going to wait. This takes a while. When it finishes, I'm going to click Closed. All right, now I want to rename my machine. Before, I just changed the label of the virtual machine, but now I want to rename my actual machine name. So the way I'm going to do this, in the search bar, I'll type rename, then I'll select view your PC name. In the center, I'm going to click rename this PC, and then here, I'm going to give it the name. So the name I'm going to give my machine is DNS-server. Windows doesn't like underscores, so I'm using a dash, DNS-server. After that, I'll click Restart Now and restart my computer. For reasons, other is fine, and I'll click Continue. So now the computer's rebooting. Once again, I'll need to log in. So I'll go to Input, Keyboard, Insert Control-Delete. I'm going to type in my password. I love this class, $123, capital I love this class, $123. So now I've created the DNS server. Again, this is the machine that has all the pairings of the host names to the IP addresses. This is the machine that knows stuff. But right now, the computer doesn't know anything. So I need to put that information in there. So in the search bar, I'm going to type DNS, and then I'll click on DNS when that comes up. And this brings me to the DNS manager, where I'm going to put in the information that it needs. On the left side, I'm going to click on the triangle to open up dns-server. Remember, dns-server is the name of my machine. I'm going to right-click on forward lookup zone and create a new zone. And what this new zone means is that this computer has the IP addresses for machines that end in a certain way. In this case, it's going to know the IP addresses for machines that end in drwoo.us. That'll make more sense in a second. So this new zone wizard is going to come up. I'm going to select primary zone and click next. It's going to ask for a zone name, and I'm going to give it drwoo.us. So again, that means I'll have information about machines ending in drwoo.us. I'll click next. Next again, next again. None of these matter too much. And finish. And there it is, drwoo.us. Again, this just means that this computer is going to have information for the IP addresses for machines that end with drwoo.us. Next thing I'm going to do is make a reverse lookup zone. And all that means is if I have the IP address, I can get the host name. So in a reverse lookup zone, I'm going to right click, new zone, click next. I'm going to select primary zone and click next. It's IPv4, so I'll click next. And for network ID, I'm going to write in 192.168.0. And what that means is for IPs that start with 192.168.0, I'm going to know what those host names are. I'll click next. And the zone file, take the default, click next, dynamic update, click next, and I'll finish. So right now, I'm ready to put information into my DNS server, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to open up my forward lookup zone, click that triangle. So I right-click on drwoo.us, and I'm going to select New Host. So again, I'm putting the information into my DNS server. So computer I'm going to make, I'm just going to name my computer Computer1. The full name will be computer1.drwoo.us, and the IP address associated with that machine is going to be 192.168.0.6. And I'm going to check off this Create Associated Pointer PTR record. I'm going to click Add Host, and it's going to give me a message that says that a record for this host, which is computer1.drwoo.us, has been successfully created. It knows that computer1.drwoo.us is 192.168.0.6. I'm going to make one more host here in the records, computer2, and that'll be 192.168.0.7. And again, all this means is now the computer knows that computer2.drwoo.us is 192.168.0.7. And if I click here on drwoo.us, the zone information, you can see the pairing, the host name on the left with the IP address on the right. All right, so here's where the checking comes in. So on my desktop, I have downloaded the check DNS server file. Check DNS server file. You can download this in the description below. Download it to your desktop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this into my virtual machine, which is possible, again, because I've installed Oracle Virtualbox guest editions and I've turned on bidirectional copy and paste. So again, I've slid it into my VM. And what I'm going to do is I am going to right-click it. I'm going to select Run with PowerShell. When it asks me if I want to change the execution policy, I'll say yes. And here's the results. It's going to check for a number of things, all associated with lab, whether I have DNS running, the IP of this machine, whether I have these records in my database, and it's all true right now. So I passed 14 out of 14 tests, and I failed 0 tests. If you see one of these fail, just scroll and find out what failed and make that correction. If this is good, if you're in my class, take a screenshot of this pass and turn that in with your lab. Okay, the next part. we're going to edit the DNS client. So again, the DNS client is the one that's going to be asking the server for information. It's going to be saying, what is the IP address of computer1.drwoo.us? That's the client. We have the server all set up. So I just turned on my DNS client. I'm going to log in. Again, input, keyboard, insert, control, delete. I'm going to type in this password. I love this class, $123 with a capital I. Again, $123 makes it secure. And here I'm going to do the same things that I did to the other computer. I'm going to set the IP address. So in the search bar, I'm going to type Ethernet, and this Ethernet settings will come up. I will select Ethernet settings. I will select Ethernet settings. I'm going to click on the Ethernet to the network. I'm going to scroll down, and when I get to IP settings, I'm going to edit this. And I'm going to edit the IP addresses. So I'm going to change DHCP to manual because, again, we don't have a DHCP server set up here in this network. I'm going to turn IPv4 on, and in the IP address field, I'm going to give it the IP address 192.168.0.4. For the subnet mask, I'll give it 255.255.255.0, and I don't need anything else. I'll click Save. Again, normally in an environment, you might have DHCP turned on, but since this is a test environment, we don't have a DHCP server, I need to give it a static IP.
Now I'll edit the DNS settings. I'll set the DNS settings to manual and click Save.
For the DNS settings, I'm going to tell it to point to our DNS server. So I need to turn on IPv4. And for preferred DNS, I need to put in the IP address of our DNS server, which is 192.168.0.3. And then I'll click Save. What this means is I'm going to have my machine, which is 192.168.0.4, ask 192.168.0.3 for DNS information. So when I'm looking for computer1.drwoo.us, it's going to be asking 192.168.0.3. So now I'm going to check my work. I'm going to download my check DNS client script onto my desktop on my host machine, my main machine. And then I'm going to drag and drop that script into my virtual machine, which once again is possible because I have installed Oracle Virtualbox guest editions into my virtual machine and because I've turned on bidirectional copy and paste. So I slide that script into the virtual machine. I right-click it. I click Run with PowerShell. If it asks whether I want to run the command, I say yes. In this case, it's not asking because I've already ran it. And here's my results. I had just 4 tests. In this case, I've passed all 4 tests. So I know my configuration is correct for this lab. All right, so the last thing I want to do is actually test one more time from this machine that is going to give me the correct IP address when I ask for it. So I'm going to open up a command window. I go to search bar. I type CMD. And the command that I'm going to use to look up an IP address of a machine is nslookup. nslookup. It's a command you'll use all the time, so you'll want to know this one. So the command I run is nslookup computer1.drwoo.us, and I'm going to see if it gives me the correct IP address. So when I run it, it gives me 192.168.0.6, and that's the correct IP address. So here's proof that it works. Right here, if you look at what's the output, it says here server, it doesn't know the name, but it's asking 192.168.0.3. That's the server that we set up. And the result it gets back is that computer1.drwoo.us is 192.168.0.6. So that's correct, and that means we've done a good job. I'll look up the other machine that I put in there. The other machine that I put into the database is computer 2. And again, it shows we're asking 192.168.0.3. And its IP is 192.168.0.7. It also works if I go the other way around. So if I ask for the IP, it gives me the host name. If I ask for the IP 192.168.0.6, it gives me computer1.drwoo.us. And it works also if I ask for 192.168.0.7. All right, so that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please give the video a like and a subscribe. And good luck with the lab. I'll see you next time.